Welcome to another incredible story. Ready for today's story? Let's get started. Story 1. Neighbor 40 female keeps showing up unannounced to my 24 male house. Original post. I recently moved into a new house in a small gated community over the summer. This is the first time I've lived in a house since I was little. When I moved in, I received a lot of welcome gifts from my neighbors since it's a very tight-knit community. This is how I met most of my neighbors, including Dana and her husband. Dana is my next-door neighbor. The first time we met, Dana came to my front door with her husband and 3 sons to introduce themselves. They brought me homemade cookies as a welcome gift. Her sons were really into dirt bikes and saw mine in the garage as I was moving in. I told them they could come over and check them out anytime they wanted. I was being nice. Dana never really said anything or gave out any red flags. The next week I was at work and got a motion notification from one of my cameras. It was video of Dana by herself looking into a window on the side of my house. I may have thought she was checking to see if I was home and didn't think much of it. Then I get a text from her later that day asking me when I would be home since her sons wanted to come over and check out my bikes. I replied that I would be working late and she responded that she would let her sons know. Nothing ever really happened for a few weeks. The second event was a Saturday night. She knocked on my front door and asked if I would like to come over for dinner. I didn't really have much going on, so I said sure. I go over to her house and I'm expecting her family to be there. Nope, it was just her. She said that her family was visiting a family member. I didn't want to be rude, so I ended up staying. Dana is a big talker, so I barely got a word in that night. It felt strange, but it was just a conversation. I saw her husband, Chris, a few days later while checking the mail, and he asked me if I enjoyed Dana's cooking. I responded it was great, and I wish he could have made it. So I guess he knew about us having dinner and was fine with it. The third event was a few days ago. My camera caught Dana walking in my backyard by herself, looking into my shed. I confronted her on the phone, and she said she was just looking for a shovel. I informed her that my tools were in the garage and made sure to let her know I can see everything on my cameras. She apologized for not asking me before coming over. She later that day sent me a picture of my boat in my driveway asking if I could take her out in it. I left her to read. The latest event happened last night. I had my somewhat new girlfriend over at the house. We were grilling in the backyard, having a good time when all of a sudden Dana showed up with her boys and literally self-invited her family to dinner. It was extremely awkward for everyone. I tried telling them that I didn't have enough for everyone. Dana claimed that her family wasn't that hungry. Dana didn't leave until my girlfriend left. I'm extremely confused if Dana is into me or just has no social awareness. The only thing at this point keeping me from confronting her is that we are neighbors and have to live next to each other. Her husband has been nice and doesn't give off any strange vibes. What do I tell her to leave me alone? Do I need to wait for her to do something again? Please help. Comments OP replies before reading the update. Deleted. This woman thinks she owns your house. I hate neighbors like this. Samba Samba. OP said she's the HOA president. OP is so F. Matt C. 1977. Oh God, sell the house and take the loss. Womp womp it. Hey. And never buy in a HOA again. Magic Tube Socks of Joy. Get blinds for your windows and keep them shut. Motion sensor lights, no trespassing signs. Get a security system. Just call the cops. Going into your property looking for a shovel is just testing the waters. Yeah, give her an inch, she'll take a mile and your life will be miserable. Better she hates you than steals from you. OOP. P. I have blinds on the house. In the video, it looked like she was trying to find a window that was open. When I first moved in, I left my garage open and went to lunch. A box of my clothes labeled clothes was missing. At the time, I thought maybe I lost it in the moving process, but now I think she had something to do with it. Magic Tube Socks of Joy. Oh, holy shit. Nightmare scenario. OOP. I asked 2 different neighbors about her and they both said Dana was an awesome neighbor to have. Magic Tube Socks of Joy. Keep the cameras rolling so you can prove everything. Now for the update. Update 15 days later. Original post on this account. Wow, wasn't expecting the original post to blow up the way it did. I would like to thank everyone for their advice. Turns out that the people who said she was into me were right. Dana texted me last Thursday letting me know that her family was going out of town for the weekend. She said that she would be lonely and wanted to know if I'd keep her company. Said something like she's grateful to have such a young and strong man in her life, referring to me. I'm 90% sure that means she's into me. I politely declined by telling her that I would be with my girlfriend. Friday night, I'm chilling with my girlfriend at home and Dana knocks on the door. I'm so thankful for my girlfriend because she let Dana have it. We didn't hear anything from Dana the entire weekend. I guess now Dana is mad because she issued an HOA violation for my trash cans being in the wrong place. Also, the other night, she was taking pictures of my girlfriend's car parked on the street for whatever reason. Yesterday, I had a conversation with one of my neighbors who let me know that Dana and her husband are apparently in an open relationship because her husband is bi. Anyways, it's not really my problem, and I'll just deal with them as my neighbors. Ever since my girlfriend had that talk with her, she hasn't been on my property. Thanks again for the help. Comments. Bleacher Blonde. I'd go to the hall and threaten them with a sexual harassment suit if she keeps it up with the fines and pictures. Addy Frostbot. Yes, but make sure you frame it to the HOA as they are enabling her harassment. They are a vehicle for her harassment. They are making you feel attacked and harassed for not having sex with her. you plan to hold them liable for it. They don't let them tell you it's between you and her. Tell them that if they continue, you'll be sending them a certified letter with the same information so that you have it a record that you notified them of their role in harassing you. Tagar sucks. Good thing she is dumb enough to do it over text. Story 2. My 31 male father, 67 male, is now on his deathbed. He verbally, mentally, and abused me when I was younger and now wants to see me. I have no desire to see this man, but my mother and sisters are giving me hell over it, and my wife thinks I should at least go once. What do I do? Original post. I have 3 sisters that I love and a mother I adore. Not always, though. I hated them when I was younger, because while my father would yell at me or belittle me for everything possible, they were the apples of his eyes. I did my best at school and karate. Nothing impressed him. Not when I earned a full scholarship to a prestigious university. Not when I was the valedictorian of my year group. Not even at 26 when I managed to start my own small company that has grown considerably since. No matter what I did, I was made to feel worthless. Less than a person, good for nothing, useless, a failure. I have lingering issues about it to this day. When I was younger, all I wanted just once was for my father to say, "I'm proud of you," nothing even close. He doted on my sisters and mother, though, and I'm not proud to say I hated them for it as much as I hated him. How dare they get away so lightly? How dare they get his smiles and laughter and kind words when all I had to get was cruelty? It took me a long time to finally begin a relationship with my sisters or mom that wasn't the jealous, angry son. Today, we are all very close. I love them to death and would do anything for them. Some time ago, my father was diagnosed with cancer. He's had other issues as well. Suffered through 2 heart attacks and a stroke, and it seems as if his body can't carry on anymore. He's dying and I don't care. I don't have it in me to care, and if he died, I could live the rest of my life having never seen him before he passed or knowing that I won't attend his funeral. He wasn't present at my wedding either. I did not invite him, which was very noticeable to many of my family members, but I didn't care. I found a woman who loved me and that I loved, and I wanted to share that day with the other important people in my life that I love or strongly like. My uncle was always sympathetic to my cases growing up. My father, his older brother, was an asshole to him, and he understood why I wouldn't want my father there, even while other family members thought I should have still invited him. Here's the thing: he wants to see me. He probably has only a few months left and now wishes to see me. My wife, mother, and sisters all want me to pay a visit to him. Well, my wife thinks I should go just once. She isn't pressuring me. She knows my history with him and says if I decide not to go, that's it then. My mother and sisters, however, do think I should go, and have all spoken to me several times in the past month about this. The only person who's laid off bugging me about it is my older sister. I'm the second child. She's 34, and she was the one who said my father be a dick to me from as far back as she or I can remember. My 2 other sisters are several years younger, 26, 25. We met recently to talk about it. My older sister and I, and for the first time in years, I broke down crying. I literally just let it out. I told her I can't do it. I tried to put everything in the past, but I can't. And I hate that man and what he did to me mentally. I can't forgive him, and she says she understands. She said she'd speak to my mother and sisters. However, my mother's sisters tend to be very pushy. Anyway, you all think I should go at least once. Comments, OP replies before reading the update. Per day 50. While only you can make the decision on whether or not you want to see him, it might be an opportunity for you to find some of personal closure. You don't have to go and tell home everything is okay and that you forgive him. You can go and tell home all the things you have said here and get it all off your chest. Whether he wants to listen and apologize is up to him. He may very likely be finally feeling remorse. Regardless, you may feel better knowing that you finally told him how you felt and what he has done to you. Let him know that you have succeeded despite him, not because of him. However, if you feel that this wouldn't help you, then I would just not go. No use going and just being uncomfortable or going just out of feeling like you owe it to your mother or sisters. You would just be resentful. OP, to be honest, the idea of helping him make peace with himself and me after years of being treated like dirt, it makes me sick. The idea that this guy, who is the reason I suffer with bouts of depression and was even suicidal when I was in my late teens, now could possibly want to tell me he's sorry, it doesn't sit right with me. I wouldn't even be surprised if he tells me that I'm still worthless, at which point I may have to avoid punching a dying guy in the face. Meow. I think you need to put your own mental health first. A few questions to consider. Is there anything you feel like you could gain from seeing him? Is there anything you want to say to him while you still have the chance? If he suddenly begged for your forgiveness, how could you see yourself handling that? If he swept the past under the rug and resolutely ignored it, how do you see yourself handling that? And the big one, no matter what happened, when you left that room, do you think you'd feel better or worse than before you went in? Is there any situation that would give you some benefit? And how likely is that to happen? OOP, 1. Probably just hearing a soon-to-be dead guy's last words to me. 2. Probably that if I have a son, I will do my utmost to be a far better father than he ever was. 3. I would say no. You had your chance. I tried to kill myself once because of you, and you didn't bat an eyelash. So you can die now, and I'm going to leave here. and you won't cross my mind again. 4. I think I'd be angry he doesn't get the right to decide. It's okay between us. That's my choice and mine alone. He doesn't get to decide on his deathbed. I hurt you, but it's cool. We're cool now. The big one I can't say, maybe worse rather than better, maybe a mix. I'll likely be angry though. Because here's why all my life I saw him as the big scary man who broke me down. Now I'm grown up and strong and doing well, and I can't look him eye to eye, man, and say whatever I might have to say. Because I don't know what I would say if I went. It would probably just be spontaneous, but no, I have to look at him, man, to broken old F lying on a deathbed and pretend to care that he's going to kick the bucket for my family. Excuse my language. Deleted. Go and see your father and tell him this. It is the last chance you will have to make amends. It's the last chance you will have to potentially hear your father apologize, or for him to tell you that he is proud of you but didn't know how to express it. He might not do any of that, in which case you are no worse off than you are now. In the best case, though, you might get some peace and closure. Obviously, it can't make up for all that has happened, but at least you will no longer have any what ifs eating away at you. OOP. Honestly, if I go, it will merely be out of curiosity to see what it is he wants in his final few days or weeks, making amends, telling me he's been proud but didn't know how to express it, even if he did want to say things like that. The time for that was maybe a decade ago when I wanted his validation and respect. I don't anymore. I don't have any what ifs. Maybe what if might have been, what if he treated me well instead of like crap? But that what if disappeared when I cut him off nearly a decade ago. Girl in 12. It doesn't sound like it would be healthy for you to go. Did your mother ever acknowledge that what he did to you was wrong? I would just say to your mother and sisters that seeing your father would not bring you peace of mind, and your father's actions caused you not to care about his peace of mind. OOP. Yes, but I think as he's dying, they just want me to see him. Maximum. Would it make any difference to you if he wanted to say he was sorry? I have no idea if this is why he wants to see you or not. Will it make you feel better, or do you just not care? Regardless, it's 100% your choice. If you don't go tell your wife and older sister you need them to support your decision, tell your mom and your other sisters they need to stop talking to you about it. My experience with Dad was 100% different from yours. He verbally and emotionally neglected and abused from when I was small until I moved out. The fact that he so obviously adored all of you made it even worse for me. I've managed to move on, and I have no wish to revisit the emotional pain and turmoil that I suffered. Please respect my decision and don't discuss this with me anymore, but my experience with Dad was 100% different from yours. Please respect my decision. If you bring it up again, I am going to have to exit this conversation. OOP. It wouldn't make me feel better. I don't care anymore. Maybe 10 or even 5 years ago. Not now, though. The only reason I'm curious is to see if he's remorseful or wants one last opportunity to be a dick. Like I said, I don't care. Not that he's dying. Not that by my birthday next year, he'll likely have been dead for some time. Even if I visit him, I won't attend his funeral, nor will I ever visit his grave to pay respect, because I have no respect for that man or any other sort of positive emotion. I _want_hard_work. I had a father who wasn't abusive, but certainly not emotionally supportive during my childhood. He paid a lot of attention to his biological kid from another marriage. Our relationship got much better over the last few years, mostly because we made an effort to understand each other better. If I was in this situation, I'd be there, and it wouldn't be an issue because he made an effort while he still had years ahead of him. The reason I'm telling you this is that I'm 3 years younger than you, yet it seems during this time where he thought he'd be alive, your dad never really made an effort to reach across the aisle and apologize to you or make amends. Not to be a dick, but deathbed confessions are cheap. His ego is finally out of the question now that he's facing his mortality. But where were these feelings during those 31 years? Your mother and younger sisters are thinking emotionally and are being extremely selfish because this is what they want. They want some cathartic moment to justify doubting you all these years and validate their views that your dad was some great guy. F that. That's all this is. It has nothing to do with your well-being. I think you're better served by staying home and standing up for yourself. If they call you selfish or an asshole or anything heartless like that, then ask them where they think you got it from and hang up and let them deal with it. They were on each other's side during life. Why should death change that? OOP. This actually makes a lot of sense the way you explain everything. My older sister knows he was an asshole on some level, yet at the same time being his first child. Daughter, she was pretty much the apple of his eye. So she's a bit 50/50 on that. I_want_hard_work. I would really highly encourage you not to go. You sound like you'd be doing it only to appease other people. It's not right. And if you don't, you can see what the aftermath is and whether or not your mother and sisters hold more loyalty to a dead man than their living flesh and blood. OOP. I know it won't tear us apart like so many people feel. My younger sisters never saw me get treated badly. By the time they were old enough to see what was happening, I'd been out of the house for a few years, so I can't blame them nor hold it against them. I don't even hold it against my mother because she's old, she's ill, and perhaps one of the greatest tragedies in her life is that her husband and her only son have never liked each other. From my perspective, even if I don't see my father and he dies, she won't hate me, nor will my elder sister. Now, for the update. So I went to see my dad, and it basically went like shit. I've caved and decided I'll see what he wants. Maybe this is something worth hearing. I visited the hospital by myself. Now my wife. No mom, no sisters, just him and I. He looked old and tired, and just as I predicted, I didn't find it in me to be angry. This wasn't the man I remembered. This was just some old broken man. It would have been a waste of my time to feel angry, and yet I did. I was so pissed off because I couldn't stand him from eye to eye and let him see that the son he treated like dog shit had built a wonderful life for himself. We didn't say anything to each other for around an hour. Then eventually I found my voice and said, this is the last time we'll ever see each other, right? No response. Then he replied, I know. So I asked him why now? Why did he want to see me so badly that he had to send a message through my mother for me? And here is where I learned that my existence was F all to him. He admitted that he did it just to give my mom closure. She didn't ask him to do it, but he knew she wanted it. So I asked him why he treated me the way he did my whole life. And he replied, I never wanted a son. Never had any interest in one. It hurt, but I kept listening and he kept speaking. He said that in the first few years of my life, he tried his best to care about me, but eventually he realized he couldn't. Then came the final nail in the coffin of my relationship with that man. I never loved you, but I didn't hate you either. I just didn't care for you because I never wanted a son. I wanted to give you up for adoption when you were younger, but your mother would never have forgiven me. So I did my best to push you aside, and you would always try and get my approval for stuff. I felt bad at times, but I just didn't care for you. By that time, I was crying. Me, a 31-year-old man, left my dying father in his hospital room and went to my car crying. I could have gone my whole life not knowing that. F my mom, my sisters, my wife, and my dad. I'm just so pissed right now. There was a part of me that hoped we would bury the hatchet. Nope. I just learned he never gave a F. I will never speak of my father again. I will not attend his funeral or visit his grave. When he dies, I'll be at the bar drinking because the F is gone from this world, and I will do everything I can to be the father he never was. Final edit from OOP. Edit. I just want to say thanks to everyone for your kind words, both in comments and PMs. They really helped a lot, particularly while I was hungover this morning and laying in bed thinking about life. Also to the stranger who gave me gold, thank you. Never had that before, and it was quite unexpected. I've got a ways to go still. I feel like yesterday opened up wounds I didn't even realize had never really healed, and I'll be talking to my wife about it, and most likely a professional as well. I won't cut my mom or sisters out. I am not angry at them. Their experiences with my father were different from my own, and I do not fault them for that. However, right now, the best thing for me is just to not be around them as much. So I don't think they'll be hearing from me for some time. Once again, I sincerely thank everybody. It was your comments and PMs that made me realize, yeah, it hurts like shit, but I won't let him have any more power over me. I'm in the prime of my life, and I've built a nice life for myself. I don't need a dying man's approval anymore because I've done the best I could for so long without it. Anyway, so here's hoping things will get better soon.